Okay. So welcome everyone. Today we will continue from where we had stopped. That is second chapter, 40th verse we had done, and we'll go on to 41. So till this point, what Krishna discussed is let's go. Yeah. So Arjuna, he didn't want to perform his duty. That was his argument in the first chapter. And Krishna here first gives the knowledge of the soul. And he says, whatever you want to decide from the perspective of the soul. What is beneficial for the soul, from that perspective you decide. And then he gives him what are the options. One, he says, is don't ever give up your duty. Because that itself is very sinful, disgraceful, is very cowardly. If a policeman has a duty to stop a crime, but if he doesn't perform that duty, then it is condemnable, right? It is very disgraceful, and the policeman will be suspended for that. So Krishna says, don't ever give up the duty. Whatever your duty is, do it. You can do it in two ways. One way is sakam karma. This we discussed from 31 to 37 verse. What does this mean is, okay, I'm going to get something out of it. A salary, a name, a status, whatever. Therefore, I will do that duty. That is one option, sakam karma. And then he says, better than sakam karma is nishkam karma. You do the duty without the desire of the fruit, without the desire of the result. Just for the sake of the duty, you do the duty. Now, we gave the example like, mother, father, they do their duty towards the children. They don't expect that children will pay them monthly or a baby will pay them monthly. No, they just do it out of love, out of their duty. In that, the satisfaction is there. Second thing is, the bondage of that karma is not there. In the previous one, sakam karma, because somebody is doing some work to get that result, that particular desire holds him into the work and doesn't liberate him. But in nishkam karma, one is doing the duty because it is his, at that point in life, he has that particular duty. He does it without the greed of that desire. Just like, army, they fight on the battlefield and they may die. But they don't die for the sake of the salary that they're going to get or for the insurance that they have, right? They don't die for that. They will die for the sake of the duty towards the country, towards that job, right? So that is even better than sakam karma. And here is where we are, that Krishna is talking about sakam karma. Few things we saw, that just like a tree, it gives fruit. But does it eat its own fruit? No. It just gives it. So this is nishkam karma. Cloud. Does it give, it gives rain. Does it keep it with himself? No. Then sages and saints, they give their life to others without any expectation. So Krishna is taking Arjuna to that level, and he's saying, if you do from that level, then you won't be a problem. And in that regards, what we read was few things we read. Do fight for the sake of fighting. Don't consider happiness, distress, loss, victory, defeat. Don't think about all this. Just fight for the sake of fighting. Because loss and gain, it keeps happening. Every soldier that goes and fight, whether their country wins or lose, there will be a loss or a profit or a gain. That soldier may die or he may get disabled, even if the country wins or even if it loses. So don't think about all these things. Those results are already there. But you do it as a duty, then you will be happy. You're getting? At the end of the day, if say your project works or not works, we all work in software companies or wherever. Whether our project works or not works, does it brings customers or doesn't bring customer, does it bring revenue and all that. At the end of the day, you will say, I did my duty. Meaning whatever task was given to me, I did that. And then rest, it just happened that the product didn't work, or sometimes it works. But at your level, one will be satisfied that yes, I gave my 100% to that. So this is what Krishna is saying, that you give your 100% and don't worry about loss, profit, and all that. Detached way. Let me put this word, detached. Okay, so now we are here, so we can go further. Okay, if you have this kind of attitude, then even if there is some loss or divination, you will be still protected from the most dangerous type of fear. Even if one does this activity and there is some loss, you don't have to worry. It's an advancement towards something, towards actually on the spiritual path. And it's even better. What happens in other motivation, sakam karma, is that the person gets entangled in that activity, and then it becomes a problem. Like, I'll give you one example. There was a person, a friend of mine actually, he told that his father, or no, not his father, his grandfather didn't get gold medal in when he did bachelor's of science, and that was a sadness he had throughout his life. He was so sad with it that even at the time of death, he was thinking about that. I should have got that gold medal. I should have got that gold medal. That is the problem with sakam karma. One is very attached to that goal. But one will say, what is the problem then? He's right. He's thinking, oh, I'm not attached. I'm like, I want that gold medal. What is the problem? So the problem comes from the spiritual perspective. Problems comes from the spiritual perspective. Now, what exactly I'm trying to say is, let's look at this. This picture over here on the right. One may get many accomplishments in their life, PhD, family, rich, and all that. At the time of death, everything is taken away. And when the next life comes, and one is again a baby, then they have to start again. So there are two kinds of accomplishments in this world: material accomplishments and spiritual accomplishments. When one is simply focused on material accomplishments, then one is entangled. And the future is also not very bright. That is next life. But when there is spiritual accomplishment, that goes even after death also. That is never taken away. And the next life is even better. It is with the spiritual. So when Krishna makes this statement that, Nishkam karma is better than Sakam karma, it is from the spiritual perspective. And why we have to be so much focused on spiritual perspective? Because ultimately spirituality will give us happiness. We have read in our previous chapter, sorry, the second chapter itself. Let me get to that picture. Okay. Here we are. That we are not the body but the soul. So if we are not the soul, if we are not the body but the soul, then what will make the soul happy? The soul will be happy when it is connected with the super soul, with the spirituality. It is very simple. The body is there, right? What will make body happy? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, because this is what the body needs. If one of the thing is not there, eating is not there, then the body is weak. It will become a problem. Therefore, but when it comes to the point of soul, for the soul, eating, sleeping, mating, defending is not there. It is just for the body. So then what is for the soul? Spirituality is there. So from the spiritual perspective, we should perform activities such that they make us happy. And if you see, Nishkam karma makes us happy. If we are detached in our activity, at the end of the day, if we can say, I did my duty, whether things went this way, that way, I did my duty, that makes us very satisfied. Is that so? Do you agree with this statement? Being detached and just performing, doing our duty for the sake of duty, and at the end of the day, we are not worried whether there is success or loss. Is our experience of satisfaction there or not?
Yes, sir, it is. But sir, sometimes if we
Hmm.
can we say that there's no satisfaction all the times, because if you don't achieve the goal, if you don't think about it, so it is obvious that at times we are bound to get sad.
No, no,
So how to
okay, okay, okay. So, okay, let me just take you. Hmm. Okay, this point is good. This point is good. Um,
sir, I have one more doubt.
hmm,
Sir, uh, if we don't think about the end goal or the result, sir, uh, don't you think it is necessary for the motivation or the driving factor, for us to motivate to work towards something? Like if that is taken out, sir, don't you think there is a possibility that we won't be motivated after a point of time to not work towards something?
okay, good. So these two are very good questions, and the later part of Bhagavad Gita does answer this. Um, so let me just think. Okay. So when we fight, when see, when let me take the first question. When the goal is not there in front, one will not be motivated and all that. Uh, I'm giving this example of army, doctor, police, father, mother. Do you think they perform the activity without looking at the goal? See, the point is not the goal. The point is the fruit, the result. Krishna is saying, don't make the fruit as the goal. Make the goal. Um, the exact word he uses is perform your duty for the sake of duty. If one makes this as goal, then he'll be happy. And to make this as goal, one should be detached. From what? From the fruit result. From the result that is going to come failure, loss, or sorry, I've put failure, loss. I have to also put profit also. Too much focus on failure only. So profit, loss, and all. Let's put happiness. Hmm? So even from all kinds of fruits, all kinds of fruits, whether loss or whether profit, whether happiness or distress or failure, whatever. Be detached from this goal and make just to perform your duty as the goal. And later on, what comes, comes. But what happens is people are focused on this happiness, profit, loss, they're focused on this. And this is not under their control. A little change happens here, they become too much disturbed. And then they are entangled into the karma. They are entangled into material life and they forget about spiritual life. So Krishna is taking Arjuna from material thought process to spiritual thought process. So that is the point. Now, do you understand what goal Krishna is saying? Don't make these as goal. Make your duty, the sake of duty as your goal.
But sir, don't you think it is very difficult, because if we take a mother's love, for example, that is very unconditional, and from the inception itself, it is with no selfishness, and it's very selfless. But if we if we apply this to our examples, so how do we uh, how do we get involved in our duty without that selfishness as a mother does? So like that is
So
very
okay,
difficult.
okay, yeah. So it's a process. Okay, it is not something immediately we'll be able to do. Right now, I am talking theoretically. What Krishna is trying to say. From theoretical to practical, it does take time. There's a spiritual process to apply, and then one can move from sakam karma to nishkam karma. Okay, so it is not going to be a 0 to 1 kind of transition. It will be 0, then 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, like that. The transition will be slow. It comes with realization. Okay, but at this point, we are talking about knowledge, hmm, and it becomes a science when that knowledge is realized. Okay, so that process takes some time. But what we need to understand intellectually is that sakam karma entangles us, while nishkam karma frees us. Okay, and the second question I'll take a little later, because that is the part of the whole thing. So for the time being, your question will be answered somewhere, somewhere from 40 to 43. These are the reasons why Krishna is saying this sakam karma is not very helpful, and he gives reasons.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, also, sir, do you think
Hmm.
life, if we get in the part of Nishkam karma, life without fruits, will it get boring, sir?
See, the
Without
nishkam. See, what we are mistaking to understand is nishkam karma doesn't mean that we perform lower or something. No, niskam karma means we perform 100%. We give our full heart. Okay, and that is what is our goal. I will give my 100%. Rest of the result, whatever comes. See, when an army person, he fights very diligently. He gives his 100%, 200% he gives, but he can get shot and get killed, na? Or he can get disabled, whatever. So the end result, if he thinks that okay, what happened after my fight? Here I'm disabled or I'm dead. That will make him disturbed. But the end result, he can just stand up and say, yes, I did my duty. I was told to fight, I went and I fight.
Hello, Hare Krishna. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this example, here the army officer is actually having a motivation behind whatever he is doing. Right. He wants to save for like his motherland. Right. So he wants to. So that's why that's the basically motivation. He is ready to do anything he has to do. So that kind of motivation, if so, whatever the question other Prabhuji has asked, so that is actually I am also agree on that question. Like if you don't have the motivation, I mean there has to be something. And even when you are saying like nishkam karma, right? And ultimately nishkam karma, you just mentioned one example, like your friend's grandfather, right? Because he didn't got the gold medal, so he was attached to that gold medal, right? And but so that's the reason he was not happy. So happiness is the goal here, right? So ultimately, if we do nishkam karma, so from with the nishkam karma there is one goal attached, that is happiness. So I'm little confused here, like
Okay.
it should be like that you don't feel anything. If this is the case, then this is again a very not a good situation though, right? Because what I feel is like if even when there is some good, I mean when something good happens, then you have to react. I mean you have to respond to that situation. even I'm not react, respond to the situation, right? I mean, even whenever it is sadness or whether it is a happiness, you have to respond, and according to that situation, you take the action. So I'm confused here, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay. I think both of you are asking good question. It is just that Krishna does explain this. I'm just trying to explain now what.
That's okay, Prabhuji.
No, no,
Chapter,
yeah.
that should be fine. We can more go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, just hold on. I'm just looking at some other points that I want to say, and I will see if it comes like that. Okay. So I'll make some few clarifications because I think some misunderstanding is there that Nishkam karma doesn't take account of the fruit. Okay. Actually, the real understanding is detached. It's more like you detach from the fruit. You're detached from the fruit, the result of failure, loss, and one is performing his duty for the sake of duty. That is the more accurate definition. What happens is one may sakam karma is more like this. It's like this, like the Vedas say that they are very fruitive activities. If you do this kind of papa punya, then if you do such punya activities, you will be elevated to heaven planets where you can live for higher life for many more years, for good birth, power, etc. The desiring this sense getting opulent life, they say there is nothing more than this. So if this is the motivation, Krishna says that is not the right motivation one should have, because then the detachment part, the liberation part, the spirituality part is neglected. Okay. So even before, if we take, this is what the understanding is. We are not the body, but the soul. Okay, and the soul has to return to its spiritual state. Spiritual state or home, right? Now, therefore, he has to perform work which doesn't entangle him in the material world. See, we are talking about spirituality. Okay, spirituality means we want to be free, liberated from material world. See, that's the ultimate goal. If one takes to spirituality, this is the ultimate goal, that one needs to liberate from the material world, especially from the cycle of birth and death. Okay, in our whole discussion till now, we have discussed these points, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now, from this point, we have to think how to perform work. Okay, we need to perform work which doesn't entangle us. How does this happen? How to do this now? It should not entangle us. It should not. It should not lead to more karma or birth, next birth. Okay, it should not lead to more karma or birth. If one leads to more karma and birth, then again the cycle of birth and death is there. So how to do this? So we need to understand how a person does his activity. First is he does it for the result. I will get something out of it. And that's the only focus he has. He doesn't have any more focus than that. See, this is what Krishna is saying in 42nd verse, that there is nothing more than this. They think that, okay, elevation to heavenly planets, good power, birth, etc. Now, in today's world, we may do perform activities not for heavenly planets, but let's say for power or money or something. And one may think that there is nothing more than this. This is what is Krishna is criticizing. One is simply focused on sense gratification, opulent life. I'll be rich, I'll be very happy. Krishna is saying that kind of mentality will entangle us. So don't keep that as the goal. What you say, upgrade your goal. Upgrade your goal from just sense gratification. Let me put it. Upgrade our goal itself. First, he says be detached. Detached, whether this sense gratification comes or not, opulence life comes or not, be detached. And perform your duty. Now, does this help? Does this help you to understand? What Krishna is telling us not to entangle, not to lead, how to do this, upgrade your goal from mere, let's put it like this, selfish happiness to selflessness. Does this help? Does this help to understand what is Krishna trying to say? Krishna says, instead of becoming selfish, you become selfless. Okay, that takes time. It is not like it will happen today, one night. But understand the theory part of it. Understand the reasoning part of it. If one becomes more selfish, then there is more chance that they will become entangled. There will be a karma, and then okay. So very nice thing we have got here. In the 16th chapter, Krishna makes it more clearer, which is like where we may reach after 1 year, I think. But let me tell you what Krishna is trying to criticize. Okay. Let's read few sentences and you will understand. This is 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The 9th verse, he says there is a demoniac mentality. Demoniac means there is a very what do you say, aggressive and selfish kind of mentality. Okay, let's put it like this: selfish, selfish, greedy kind of mentality. What it does is that it takes shelter of insatiable lust and in pride and false prestige. Okay, they do unclean work. What they believe that to gratify the senses means my own selfishness, my own happiness is the prime necessity. That is my prime necessity. There is nothing more than that. Thus, until the end of the life, the anxiety is immeasurable. Okay, these people who think like this, their anxiety never ends. Bound by networks of thousands of desires, they are fully with their desires only. I want this, I want that, and to achieve this, I will get this, do that. Absorbed in lust. Lust means enjoying tendency and anger. They secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. This is what Krishna is criticizing. And this is what they think. This is how they think. The demonic person thinks, so much wealth I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in future, more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and I am happy. I am the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. Such people are deluded by ignorance. They don't have knowledge. They think like this. This is what is Krishna criticizing. This mentality is he is criticizing. He says, don't make this as your goal. What? Thinking that, oh, that person is my enemy and I will kill him and I'm the lord of everything. Lord of everything means everything belongs to me. I am the live king size kind of thing. Now, how does this explain? Now, he's giving Bhagavad Gita to whom? Arjuna. Arjuna is already a king. And he's saying, don't make this as your goal. Because this is Duryodhan thinking. Duryodhan is thinking like this. I am perfect, I am powerful, I am rich, I'll kill that person. Such mentality will entangle us. It will keep giving us more death and birth and death and keep rotating us in this life. There will be no spiritual life. And Krishna points out this, that the Vedas, they give flowery words that you will go to heavenly planets. And people are attracted to that. But real spirituality is actually to get rid of the cycle of birth and death, not even the heavenly planets. So from that perspective, Krishna says, become detached. Don't go after this, I want to be the lord of everything. Make your goal from selfishness to selfless. Okay, from centered to diverse. From self-centered for the benefit of others. Then you will be happy. In whatever you do, if you have this kind of mentality, the work won't entangle you. Like, a person may say start a factory. But if he has this kind of mentality, from this scheme, I will make money. I will take money from my own workers. I won't give them salary, or I'll reduce the salary. Then he will do his business. There are many people who do like that, and their business is growing also. But that person has so much selfish mentality that he is entangled in it. First of all, he is creating karma by acting very criminally, sinfully. So there will be some karma. Next life he has to come and he has to be like that kind of worker where he's been tortured by his master. Okay, because he's creating that karma. Second thing is, because one is only thinking about money and only thinking about the goal and all that, the goal is being the material goal, then he forgets about spiritual life. And when one neglects the spiritual life, he neglects his soul. And when one neglects the soul, then they go again into the cycle of birth and death. So Krishna is saying, instead of being selfish, you become a little selfless. And that will help you. And it will improve your detachment. And then perform your duty. Then whatever comes on its accord, be happy with it. And at the same time, when one is happy in sense, when one is peaceful, when one is having this control over himself and he's detached, then he can focus also on the spiritual life. Otherwise, the material life will only take the whole thing away. One won't be able to focus on the material spiritual life. So that's the bigger picture. The problem with this is that the problem with this whole mentality is that spiritual life is gone. And Krishna is saying, don't have this kind of mentality. This is Duryodhan mentality. Okay. So this is a little bit bigger picture, okay? The bigger picture, why Krishna is saying this here. But if you put it in simple words, it simply means you go from selfish mentality to selfless mentality. In whatever activity you may do, whether you are a businessman or a simple watchman or prime minister or president, you may have certain aspirations. Now, right now, this war of Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata is happening. So Arjuna is having this aspiration that I have to win this war. Krishna is saying, don't keep that as your ultimate goal. It can be your milestone, say first milestone, but don't keep that. It is just part of it, you know. And this activity of killing and, you know, fighting, you do it for the sake of duty. Because you're a fighter, you do it for that sake. Somebody challenged you on it, and, you know, they have come to fight on the battlefield, you fight. Whether you have a relationship with them or you don't have a relationship with them. And this very fighting, you can make it spiritual. Now that part is, we have yet to read it. Okay, every activity that we can do, we can make it spiritual. That is the key. So what we are heading towards is from Sakam to Nishkam to Bhakti Yoga. Okay, we are heading towards the third thing, Bhakti Yoga. Okay. So does this help? Does this big picture try to give you some understanding? It is. It may not be right now. You may not get it. Yes, Harish, you have something to say.
Yes, Saru, it helps. It helps. So
Okay.
so just one more thing, like what you are just now saying. I mean, if I'm trying to connect your answer with some spiritual part, we might not have.
Just speak a little louder. No, not able to hear.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes.
Try again.
Can you hear me? Clear? Am I clear?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm saying that if I'm trying to connect to this your discussion with spiritual discussion, like so basically what I'm saying is instead of having material goals, we can have a small spiritual goals, right? Which can, right? That is that a correct thinking here in terms of Nishkam karma? I mean, for example, if I'm working wherever I'm working right now, so I can think of like if I work more, if I work hard and I do this thing, I will be able to earn more money, and then I will be able to serve more devotees, or I'll be able to donate more temples. I mean, donate to more temples, something like that.
Actually, there's a catch over there. Okay, it is not exactly like that. It is not exactly like that. What it says is what we are trying to say, what we are trying to come in Bhakti Yoga. In Bhakti Yoga means Bhakti Yoga means we will perform both material duty and spiritual duty. Okay, we'll perform both material duty and spiritual duty, and we will try to dote our material duty as much as possible to spirituality. In some cases it will work, in some cases it will be very difficult. Okay, we need to understand this, but we'll try. Like here you're giving an example. Okay, I will earn money, and some part of it I will donate. Okay, now in case of all devotees this thing doesn't happen. Some people earn, some devotees, some spiritualists, they earn so little that there is nothing to donate. So that's why dovetailing everything of the material duty towards spirituality, it becomes difficult. So for them, Krishna says you don't have to worry so much of all these things. What you have to do is you have to perform your work for the sake of your work, nothing beyond that, and focus more on spiritual duty. That way, material duty, even if it fails, you're not worried. You're kind of detached to it, and you are able to say that I've done my duty. After this, whatever happens, happens. We may have this goal, but again, this goal is not the ultimate goal, We should not even take this as the ultimate goal. This is a very good goal to have. Krishna says in 12th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, he says, whatever you earn, some part of it, if you donate, that is also bhakti yoga. Okay. But ultimately, we have to come to some spiritual practice also. Yeah. Let me just take it. Okay. Okay. This is another way to understand. We may have 4 tendencies within us. One is a Brahmanical tendency, gathering knowledge and giving knowledge. Other one is a Kshatriya tendency, that is political and administrative. Third one is a business mentality, Vaishya. And fourth one is just performing work for others and being happy with the salary that comes. And we may have other tendencies that we want to marry and all. Okay. In all these cases, we have to see how much we can do bhakti yoga in all of it. That is the goal. How much we can do it. And then slowly, slowly we will advance. Anything more that is lingering in your mind?
I mean, that I think whatever you're saying is, it might be. I mean, this is another stage of spiritual life. I mean, right now we are on not that platform, so
Okay.
we should not be thinking on that.
It takes time to understand these things, but let's theoretically understand. First point is that we need to theoretically understand where we are and from what point we need to go and to where we need to go. Okay. We spent a lot today with discussing one point. Yeah. Sakam karma, Nishkam karma. These concepts are going to come again and again. So just let me check one thing. Okay. So again, coming back to our discussion, we will go to this verse, 38 verse. See, one of the fear that Arjuna is having, that his particular act of fighting will lead to a lot of sinful reaction, right? Because he's killing people. So now Krishna is giving him an advice that how you can still kill, but you will not incur sin. And to do it, you have to do it for the sake of Krishna. Okay. We read this, but yeah. But this is one point I want to discuss. It says in Bhagavatam, it says that anyone who is completely surrendered onto Krishna, Mukunda, giving up all other duties, is no longer debtor, nor is he obliged to anyone, nor the demigods, nor the sages, nor the people in general, nor kinsmen, nor humanity or forefathers. This is an indirect hint given by Krishna to Arjuna in this verse, and the matter will be clearly explained in the following verses. If one works without fruitive results, then he can be free from the bondage of work. Um, in this, Arjuna is focusing on one thing. He's saying that his prime duty was to fight, but he wanted to cease fight. He didn't want to fight. Why? Because he was thinking that by not killing his kinsmen, he would be happier than by enjoying the kingdom after conquering his cousins, brothers, etc. In both ways, basic principles for sense gratification. Meaning, he was thinking for himself. He was thinking about happiness that is derived from conquering them and happiness derived by seeing kinsmen alive are both on the basis of personal sense gratification, even at the sacrifice of wisdom and knowledge. Krishna therefore wanted to explain to Arjuna that by killing the body of his father, he would not be killing the soul. Okay. Um, Krishna will now tell him the working process of Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga. In other words, the practice of devotional service only for sense gratification of the law. So, from selfishness to selfless, and then for the gratification of the law. That is Bhakti Yoga. When we talk about Bhakti Yoga, it means we are doing it for the satisfaction of the law. So, when you are telling that I will earn money, give some part of it, it is great. But even if this doesn't exist, even if there are some who are not able to earn that much and not able to donate only, still they can satisfy the Lord. That is Bhakti Yoga. And how that is done is a science in itself. It will come in chapter 9 and 10. Like here it is said, in chapter 10, he says that he's sitting as a Paramatma and he will tell how to serve it. Okay. Okay. So I think I may be banging the bush a lot about this. Yeah, Harish, you have something to say?
No, Prabhu, no.
Okay. Okay. See, when when we talk in Bhagavad Gita, right, here we are talking about a time when there was Varnashram system. Okay, everyone was performing their duty in a particular way. Right now, we are also performing our duties. That is all fine. The only thing is our duties are entangling us because all our activities are such now that um, we are working, for like what to say. Our work creates more problems. This technological advancement and all that, it creates more pollution, climate change, and so many things. So our work is creating more and more problems. It's entangling us, and the result and the reason for that is people are very selfish in today's world. Unfortunately, we are also working in the same companies which are actually plundering the wealth of the earth. We need to understand this thing, right? So there's a difference in the times that people were working in, say, 5,000 years ago compared to what is it today. So coming from selfishness to selflessness is the first point, and then from selflessness to satisfying Krishna is the Bhakti Yoga. Okay, so we are progressing towards Bhakti Yoga, and on this path there is no loss. There's no diminution. And on this part, this is the verse today we are going to discuss. When one has that spiritual goal as his goal, then he is resolute in his purpose. His aim is one. And intelligence of those who are not irresolute is many branched. Okay. We have like 7 minutes. I don't think I'll be able to finish this. Okay. So let's come to our discussion part for last 5 minutes, whatever we have.
Prabhu?
Yeah.
Plus one question. It's like
Sure.
in the Bhagavad Gita, did Krishna provide like in the Gita Bhagavad does Krishna has provided the process to moving from selfless to selflessness and
Yes.
from the selflessness to Bhakti? Oh, okay.
Okay. See, part of it is there in this chapter itself. He's going to say that, see, and in those times, right, 5,000 years ago, people were very much focused on heavenly planets. Right now, we are not so much focused. We are not being even taught about it. What we are focused on is power, richness, money. Agreed? We are not so much focused on next life because it was never taught to us. So that's why there is a difficulty in understanding Bhagavad Gita, because it is more focused, like, people who are focused on heavenly life also.
Yeah.
But let's keep that apart. Even the main thing that, just having money here and enjoying here, that focus Krishna is saying is sense gratification. Is very flowery. Don't be attracted to that.
And Prabhu, like
now, just let me finish. What happens is, if we are talking to, say, a poor person, and if you say, don't look for opulent life like this, then the poor person will say, Arey, I don't get even food, and if I don't work for food also, then what will happen, right? So the point is not to confuse here. One has to work for keeping the body and soul together. Okay, and when that is done, when that is available, then instead of increasing the sense enjoyment, you focus on your spiritual life also. That is what is spiritual life. Okay, so somebody who is not at the level of even keeping body and soul together, they may not be able to take this instruction. For them, it's like, oh, this is very difficult. But it's not like that. Bhakti yoga is irrespective of whether you are able to keep your body and soul together or you are able to keep it. It's irrespective of that. So yeah, tell me, Harish.
Yeah, Prabhu. So what I was saying is, like, right now in the current situation, like the people, like what we are saying is that in the next birth, if you do this, you have to take the next birth, right? But the problem is that why does the people don't care about these things, because they cannot experience that right now. Or for example, if some of his friend or some of he himself has already experienced that kind of situation, right? Then then he would have believed that, but right now we have this, this because it has been written in the scriptures, and we believe that, okay, this is true. This is true. So we believe that this is true. Then we say, okay, we should not be doing this. But not everyone believes this. It's some of the people have this mentality. Until they don't have experience, they don't feel the experience, they actually don't believe this.
Yeah, that's the problem. So one thing way to understand that thing is that whether one goes to the heavenly planets or achieves a lot of power and all that, like we read the 16th chapter, na? Krishna makes one point over there. He says, that those who don't think about next life, suppose they don't even think about next life, they just think about the present life, and they have this kind of scheme. This is my enemy, I'll kill him. I am the enjoyer, I'm powerful, I want to be the richest, etc. What happens with them is that the life is full of anxieties. It is never ending. It is not even peaceful for them. Now, those who commit scams and all that, do you think they're peacefully sitting in their home?
Not
No,
possible.
right? Yeah. So that's what Krishna is saying. That mentality, and they did work. Okay, they did very hard. They worked hard to commit those scams. They thought of every loophole in the system, right? They put their properties in this name and that particular person's name, and they hid the money in pipes. If you have read recent news, they have bought properties on the names of other relatives. Agreed?
Yeah.
So that is so, it's full of anxiety, right? At the end, also, it doesn't come very easy. And to such person, spirituality is zero. He can't even focus because his whole life is entangling into that. Okay, that is the extreme where Krishna is saying that mentality don't have. Then what mentality one should have? Do your duty for the sake of your duty. What that means is, I have been given this duty, I'll do it. But it doesn't mean that, oh, that somebody say, okay, you're working in a company, and we won't give you salary. Then you cannot say, no, this is not my duty. That duty over there means that, yes, my transaction with you is with the salary. If salary stops, I stop doing my duty. That is there. Okay. That is a what do you say, common sense. But Krishna is not saying that be entangled in their duty itself. If I put it rightly, he doesn't transgress the common understanding of performing work. We are all performing work to keep our body and soul together. Okay, to earn a livelihood. He doesn't go against that. What he goes is that if you think more about it, then you will lose the focus on spiritual life. That is his criticism. Yeah, think about it more. You have Bhagavad Gita, you have this section, you can go over this section. We may not we went we may have discussed certain things in the past that we may not be able to connecting it. So I think we can stop here. It's 2 p.m. Let's discuss again from 41. And if there is something more, you can ask in the chat. You can ping me personally. We will go a little more, much more discussion. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.